let's see how we can define the different ways in the Vuejs. I will try to show you. Then afterwards we can move on to the next topic. So here this is one way of implementing the component. Okay, the first one is a component name, and the second one is the here up to here. The second one is the template options API. So these are all the object. So these are the two things. Now this component is called as a global component. Okay, for example, if I try to take this component and place it at the bottom, okay, after mounting I try to place it. So after mounting, if I place this one, the component will not work. Okay, before mounting of this Vue.js into the template only, we need to define all the components, then only we need to mount. At last we need to mount. This is one concept you need to remember. Then only this counter and all those things work. Or otherwise, if you try to place it here and you place it at the bottom, so maybe you will be getting a warning in the console. So I didn't open the console, right? Let's open the console. You'll see. So in the console, yeah, failed to resolve a component. So I am unable to know about this counter component. So this is a native custom element. So here it is telling that I am unable to find this component. So can you so like this it is saying. So that means why? Because we have added this component after the mounting. So after mounting means it will try to check all those component names. Now by the time this component is not been registered, so that is the reason it is trying to delete. So that is the reason first we need to make it before mounting only the component is available. Then you will not get any errors. If you see here, now the component works perfectly. The another thing is, so here we have created a component in a global way. So this is a global way of creating a component. So this component we can use it in anywhere. Now the another way of using the another way of creating a component is, first we will try to learn this one. So the naming convention of this one. So we have created a counter and a component separated by a hyphen. So we can also give in a such a way that in a Pascal case also we can give it. So counter component. Okay, we can give it in a counter component, and the naming convention here it will be like this only, counter hyphen component. Okay, so these both are one and the same only. Where is this one gone? Yeah, so these are one and the same only. How this component in the template, how it will be compiled is, so all the small, it will be converted into, all the capital letters will be converted into small. So counter, okay, counter, and the second capital letter is there, right? So here it will be shifted to hyphen, okay, component. So like this the template will compile. So for example, let's say that I have given it is all as a small letters. Okay, I have given it is all as a small letters. So here if you try to see, now again it is unable to find a counter component. Why? Because these are all in the small letters. So what it will try to do is, so here it will be expecting like this one only. So it will search with this name only, counter component. Now if you see the output will come. Okay, the naming conventions how it will be. So you can also give something like counter component here, like a camel case also you can give it. And then if you are given in the middle any capital letter is there, means it will be converted into small, and a hyphen will be placed in the before. Now if you see, again the output will work. Normally the best naming convention is, because this one is not a variable or a method, this is a component, we need to give C also as a capital. So counter component. So this is the name how we need to give it. Or otherwise you can also give counter hyphen component also, not a problem, the single thing. But we will be giving it as in like this, counter component. So this is the naming convention, and this template is one and the same. So now by going on, we will try to see how we can divide this template into an HTML. These all things we'll try to see. If you are having big HTML, means writing as a string, it will create some issue. Not issue, it will be somewhat complex for us. Why? Because in the JavaScript we are able to add it, right? In React.js we'll do the same thing only. And here the data variable, where it's gone? Yeah. So these are all the properties, just like, so these all the things also has a mounted, the lifecycle hooks which you have learned it. So these all the things are available. Computed also it will be available. Watcher also it will be available. So the properties which you have learned up to now, all the properties are available in this one. So they don't think that those properties are available only to the instance thing. Not at all. For the component also, all the properties are involved. So like mounted, we have learned it, right? So many: before mount, mounted; before update, updated; created, before create; before unmount, unmounted. These all things are all available in the component. Computer properties are available, watcher, everything will be available. But here it will apply only to this template only. The scope is up to here in this template only. There the scope is for entire thing from here to here, the HTML. Think of this one as an HTML for this one, and this HTML is for this one. So like that. The another way of declaring this one is, for example, let's try to take this entire object. Okay, I am removing this one all, and here I will be having some constant, some variable I am having, counter component. This is one variable, and I can paste this all entire object. So now think this one as an object. This is just an object only. Key value paste we are having. Okay, so here this one is nothing but the full form is, don't think that this one doesn't have a key. So this, like this, it will be having the full form is, but in ES6 version we are trying to give a shorthand notation. The methods like this we are having. So this is an object, simple object. Now here in this one we can have another property. Okay, another key, something like components. Okay, this one is, we are declaring it locally, components. And here what I need to do, so we need to give the component name. The first key name is the component name. Here I can have a counter component, and the object, we need to declare the object, that is nothing but a counter component here. That's it. Now if you try to see counter component here, then also output has to work. Output is working, then also the output is working. For example, let's say that I want to change this one to only counter. I don't want to give the component counter. I named it as a counter. Now you need to change this name also to counter. Okay, so counter. Now if you see the output, then also the output will work, not a problem. So if you try to change it to counter component, then it will go away. Let's see, one only we will try to change it. See, one component has gone, counter component I am able to resolve. Why? Because the name of the component, the key value is nothing but the name of the component. So we need to give it as a counter component. The second one is the object. So which object, the variable, as it has the object, we need to mention it here. For example, if you want to mention counter component, we are having like this, right? So like this we are having it, right? So this is the thing. So that means I need to mention it here, counter component. Now here you can also remove this key. Okay, if you are having this key like the same counter component and the same is the component name and the component variable is one and the same, means you can use it like this, counter component. Now here I told you, right? So the capital letters will be converted into small. So this capital letter is first, right? So it will be converted into small. There will be no hyphen before. Why? Because the first letter, that one is. So counter, and the second one it is having capital, right? C. So it will be converted into hyphen small c, component. So like this it will compile it. Now if you see the output, so here I have written it, right? Now if you see the output, then also the output will work without any problem. If you see here, counter component label, I have given it label like this. A is also capital. Sorry, L is also capital. Now what I need to do, I need to add a label for the component name, and also we need to keep a hyphen. Why? Because L is capital. So here I need to give, first we'll try to see here. See, counter component label is not defined. Okay, so here the variable name also should be this. Constant name also should be label like this. Now the component name, if you try to see here, so it is trying to say that I am unable to find this counter component. Why? Because this one we have changed it to counter component label. So that means here I need to use counter component hyphen label. And this one also will try to change it to hyphen label. Now if you see the output, then I am able to see the same output again. So these are the different ways how we can define a component in the Vue.js. So this is locally I am trying to create here by using a components property, or otherwise if you want to make it as a global, it means app.component, like that also we can use it. So these are the different ways how we can use the component.